Magandang umaga. I held off discussing the sexual orientation and gender expression and identity bill kasi most people are very emotional about this. So what I want to do is to discuss yung ibang mga argumento dito. This will be only the first of a series kasi medyo malaki itong topic na ito eh. So, i-discuss lang muna natin na una i-define natin kung ano yung discussion natin dito ha. I-discuss po natin dito yung Sogie bill na ipinasa noong 17th Congress. Ito po yung pinost natin sa Luminous. Okay? I-discuss din po natin ano yung nature ng discrimination at iba-ibang klase at kung ano po ang tinatawag na Equal Protection Clause at kung bakit merong mga exceptions dito. Okay? Umpisahan po natin sa ganyan para maiintindihan natin hindi lang po yung batas mismo pero pati yung konteksto nito. At saka after makita natin yan, kailangan din natin i-discuss yung reasons kung bakit nagiging emotional tayo tungkol dito. I would prefer na hindi tayo emotional kasi nga nakaka-cloud ng logic natin. Okay lang naman na meron tayong gusto o meron tayong ayaw just because. Kasi minsan, di ba, may makikita kang tao, ayoko ng mukha niya, naiinis ako. Pwede na, completely acceptable. Ang hindi po kasi magiging acceptable ay yung ang sistema ng gobyerno natin ay nag-encourage na mag-discriminate tayo sa mga tao nang wala tayong basihan. Okay? Take note, hindi discrimination alone ang problema, pero yung basihan ay hindi rasonable. Yun po ang pinagbabawal ng ating saligang batas. So let's start. Bakit? Ano ang mga argumento? Kasi dito, bago natin ma-discuss yung Sogie, tinignan ko muna kung ano po yung mga argumento dito. At yung iba, pinost ko na kung bakit hindi siya argumento against this bill. So, umpisahan natin. May mga argumento dyan na, one, baka abusuhin daw yung batas. Mga sweetheart, wait, that sounds condescending. Mga kaibigan, ang lahat po ng batas maaari pong maging subject ng abuso. It doesn't matter whether it is a law on discrimination or a law giving benefits or a law preventing something. Yun nga lang sa sa revised penal code, may mga nakakalusot, tinatawag ninyong technicality, tinatawag nating kung ano-ano. It's not a ground for invalidating a law, particularly pagka meron tayong isinusulong na batas that seeks to protect some people. So, ano yung gagawin ninyong mas mahalaga? Yung pagpoprotekta ng isang grupo ng tao at yung pag-prevent na sila ay masaktan or ma-discriminate or magka-damage o yung possibility na may mga salawahan dyan na maaaring mag-abuso ng batas. So, yun po ang dapat tinitimbang natin isa sa isa. Is it important for us to protect certain people or is it important that we just prevent the abuse of the law? Hindi ako nagbibigay ng sagot dito. Ang binibigay ko lang yung sitwasyon na kailangan natin pag-isipan. Kailangan ba natin gamitin yung ganyang klaseng argumento kung ang purpose talaga ng batas ay para makaprevent ng pananakit sa ibang tao? So wait, let's all agree na ang lahat tayo, ang hangad natin ay equality. Lahat tayo, ang hangad natin ay hindi makasakit ng ibang tao. The Sogie bill, yun nga, identifies a particular group of people at sinasabi na base dun sa current na sitwasyon sa ating lipunan, kailangan silang protektahan. Okay. I-identify ko lang the portions of the law na sa tingin natin are, kumbaga, no question, dapat ipasa. Yung portion po ng Sogie bill that prevents yung pananakit or physical harm doon sa mga members ng LGBTQ+ community on the basis of their gender. Okay? Sa tingin ko, wala naman sa atin ang gustong masaktan sila. Wala naman sa atin ang nag-advocate na masaktan ang grupo na ito. Ang madalas sinasabi ay, bakit kailangan pang bigyan sila ng batas samantalang covered na yon ng ating current laws? Hindi po totoo yon. Ang current laws natin punish the result except for murder and homicide, no? Pagka pananakit, ang pinapunish ng ating revised penal code ay yung resultant injury na galing sa isang violent act. Halimbawa, sinuntok ko yung tao, na-incapacitate yung tao for more than 9 days, yun ay tinatawag na serious physical injuries. Okay? Pagka less than 9 days, less serious, slight, may mga ganon. So, kinikilala ng batas natin, hindi yung action, pero yung naging resulta ng action na yon. Ngayon, bakit kailangan ng mga LGBTQ na meron silang batas that identifies this? Kasi ang sinasabi ng LGBTQ community, what you're punishing is the discrimination. Ginugulpi sila dahil sa kanilang sexual orientation or dahil sa kanilang sexual identity or sa kanilang gender. Yun po. Again, hindi ko sinasabi pa na pabor o hindi ako dito. Pero kailangan, kung magsasabi tayo na pabor tayo o hindi tayo pabor, naiintindihan natin kung ano yung pinapropose dito. Nakikita ko po yung comments ninyo, pero hindi ko pa po siya masasagot kasi tapusin muna natin itong portion na to. Next, maraming nagsasabi na ito ay tungkol sa discrimination. Totoo po yun. This is about, ang sinasabi ng LGBTQ community, sila ay nagsasuffer from discrimination. O yung mga nagsasabing no to Sogie bill, makinig muna kayo. Inirespeto ko po yung opinion ninyo, pero hintayin nyo muna. Kasi mas maganda kung meron kayong ma-identify na provision dun sa Sogie bill na nakakasakit or may reason kung bakit kailangan natin i-prevent yung passage ng batas na ito. Okay? So, again, back to this. Sinasabi ng LGBTQ community, they are being discriminated upon. Halimbawa, pagka nasa labas, may mga, even the slight remarks, yung mga, oh, baklang to, mga ganyan. Yung pag-use ng term na bakla, or bading, or any other term, pero used in a derogatory manner, ay nakakasakit sa kanila. Ngayon, ang determination lang natin dito is kung yung ganong klaseng pananakit is sufficient to warrant a law to protect them over that. Okay? Yun po ang ating ginagawang judgment ngayon. Does this warrant a law? Okay. Kung ganun lang, or at ganun lang ang tingin, ha? I'm not saying that ganun lang kasi pag ikaw yung nakakarinig, masakit eh, hindi mo pwedeng sabihin lang eh. Okay, so back to discrimination. Ina-identify ng LGBTQ that they are being discriminated against. Ang sinasabi naman ng iba, hindi naman kayo dinidiscriminatan. Tinatanggap nga namin kayo. Bakit kailangan nyo pa ng batas? Gusto ng LGBTQ community merong batas kasi nako-codify at kinikilala yung mga particular acts na nakakasakit sa kanila. At kadalasan kasi, ang sinasabi ng LGBTQ community, itong mga acts ng pananakit na ito ay hindi kulang ang awareness ng taong bayan na one, they actually cause harm or pananakit, and two, are really discriminatory acts. Ang sinasabi ng kabilang panig, walang discrimination dyan, eventually mag-evolve yung value system natin na hindi na tayo magiging ganon, hindi na natin magagawa. Pero dapat meron tayong awareness. Okay, parehong valid yun, di ba? Tingin ko, parehong valid yun. Pero, intindihan din natin na the LGBTQ community believes na yung itong ganitong klaseng discrimination can also lead eventually to acts of violence. And even if they don't, they still cause harm. Okay. So, ang point ng Sogie bill is to identify areas kung saan pwede silang nadi-discriminate and to provide penalties for acts of discrimination against them. Now, is this void under the Constitution or pwede bang i-challenge ito sa ating saligang batas? Well, it will depend. Ang sinasabi kasi ng mayorya or ng non-LGBTQ tayo, sinasabi, well, not naman tayo, ang sinasabi is discriminatory na against us kung magpapasa kayo ng batas ng ganyan. Ang sinasabi ng LGBTQ, dinidiscriminatan kami, we need this law to protect us. Ngayon, pwede ba sa saligang batas yan? Sabi ng iba, hindi. Kasi masyado na silang namimihasa, ang dami nating binibigay na protection. So, kami naman yung nakakawawa because of that. Wait. Okay? Ganito po yon. Meron kasi akong nakita, hi Doc Ethel, ayoko kasing magsulat sa sa wall mo na kukontrahin ko, pero merong tinatawag sa ating saligang batas na equal protection clause. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process, may mga ganyan. So yung equal protection, ginaguarantee na lahat ng tao ay protektado ng ating saligang batas. Ibig sabihin, we're all treated equally, should be treated equally under the law. Ngayon, sinasabi ng iba, hindi na yan equal protection kasi mas malaki na yung karapatan na binibigay natin sa LGBTQ community. Ang sinasabi ng LGBTQ community, for some of us, it is a matter of survival. Kasi meron ngang actual physical harm na nangyayari sa kanila. Okay. May nagsasabi, di ba bawal nga yun kasi magiging reverse discrimination? Okay, ganito yon. So, claim ng LGBTQ, may discrimination against them. Claim ng kabilang side, dahil dyan sa batas ninyo, reverse discrimination, kami naman ang antala dahil sa inyo. The law says we're all entitled to equal protection and therefore we should be treated equally under the law, except, one exception is what is known as affirmative action. Okay, tingnan natin yung saligang batas. Doon sa saligang batas, merong sinasabi na pinoprotektahan ang indigenous peoples, women, children, at saka other identifiable groups. Kasi sa ating batas, okay, so, huwag niyong awayan si Sas at si Mocha, please, guys. Wala akong sinasabi dito that's against either one of them. We're all entitled to our different opinions. Hindi kailangan makipag-away, hindi kailangan gawing personal ito. Although, for SAS and other LGBTQ, it is personal. Hiyaan natin sila, pwede naman sila ng ganun, di ba? So, okay, equal protection. Dapat pantay-pantay tayo sa batas. Pero, ina-identify din ng saligang batas na merong mga certain classes of people na kailangan ng additional protection. So, the general rule is, bawal ang class legislation. Hindi tayo pwede gumawa ng batas na nagpapabor sa isang klase ng tao. Ang exception ay kapag ito ay affirmative action. Okay, let's look at different kinds of discrimination para nakikita din natin. Pagka kinumpara mo kasi, maliliwanagan tayo kung ano yung pinagdadaanan ng ibang mga classes of people who believe that they're being discriminated upon. Pero let's also look at our laws. Ang ating batas, nagre-recognize ng ganitong klaseng protection, kinikilala certain classes of people that are entitled to protection. At sino itong mga to? Women. Merong Magna Carta for women. Children. Doon sa 7610, Republic Act 7610 or yung Child Abuse Act, nakalagay doon, it's preventing discrimination against children. Bakit? Ang mga bata, sometimes they're allowed to work, hindi dapat dinidiscriminatan in terms of salaries, etc. Because they're also, if they're allowed to work, then they should not be discriminated against, etc. That's just one instance. Sino pa? The elderly. So we have a Senior Citizens Act. We have the Anti-Age Discrimination Act. Okay? So ibig sabihin, kahit yung saligang batas natin, kahit kinikilala natin na dapat pantay-pantay tayo sa batas, minsan merong mga tao na kailangan ng additional na protection. Okay? Do we get angry? Maiinis ba tayo dun sa mga senior citizens kasi sila entitled to 20% discount? Hindi naman siguro. Maiinis ba tayo sa mga bata kasi bawal mag-discriminate sa kanila, bawal bawasan sila ng karapatan, bawal ibaliwala ang kanilang mga ang pananakit sa kanila simply because they're younger? I don't think so also. Diba? So we have to look at it from that point of view. What are the other kinds of discrimination? Well, Dito nga sa Pilipinas, mabilis tayo gumawa ng batas, so meron tayong mga ganyan. Without looking yet at the Sogie bill, tingnan natin dun sa US. When I was in law school, yung aming professor presented to us a case that happened in Hawaii. Ang kaso na ito ay kakaiba kasi it involved a Filipino immigrant who was working in, if I'm not mistaken, the Department of Motor Vehicles. At he was fired. And he was fired because of his Ilocano accent. The man had no complaints against him for the work that he did, na wala namang reklamo sa kanya ng mga yung mga nanghihingi ng respeto, wait lang, aabot din tayo dyan. Wala pa nga tayong pinapanigan eh. Okay, this man had a heavy Ilocano accent and he was fired. And that was the only reason he was fired. There's no question about his competence. There's no question about his job. Ang sinasabi kasi lang ng kanyang employer was that he had to deal with people and therefore they used accent as a means to fire him because ang sabi nila hindi siya maiintindihan. Although there were no complaints about it. So this was one of those first cases na na-identify natin as a case of discrimination. Kasi ang problema lang talaga dito, yung accent. Di ba? So now in the US, it wasn't as a result of this case. Pero later on, kinilala ng US federal government, that means the entire US, ang discrimination against an accent. So very recently, a man of Indian descent sued his employer because he was fired for having a heavy Indian accent. At sinasabi ng federal authorities, in all likelihood, this case is going to win. Okay? Ano pa yung ibang mga kinds of discrimination? Well, of course, there's discrimination against age, which we have already discussed. And then there's gender. Because there was a time when women weren't even given the right to vote at pinaglaban ng kababaihan yon para i-recognize na we are equal to men. And parang resulta na rin dun sa pagkikilala ng equal rights ng mga kababaihan ay ang equal rights ng mga ibang tao who do not identify with either male or straight male or straight female. Yan, hindi ko makita yung notes ko, biglang nawala. Okay. Ano pa yung ibang discrimination? May discrimination against religion. Dito sa Pilipinas, madalas yan, and we don't even notice it. In the US, merong Church of Satan. Okay? This Church of Satan was actually a half a joke. This group opposes the use of the return of prayer in public schools, the use of the Bible, the displays of the Bible, etc. They advocate actually for a secular state. Ginagawa lang nila, ginagamit nila na Church of Satan sila to prove in the negative how government might be swayed to favor a particular religion, in particular, the Christian religions. Okay. Sorry, nauubo ko. So, kunwari, nag-advocate ng prayer doon sa isang school, magdidemanda sila doon sa school at sasabihin na, sige, if you are going to allow the children to pray, then our own children also can pray to Satan. Diba? Pag nakikita na ng mga tao, oh no, we're allowing prayer and therefore may mga tao dyan na magpapa-apoy or magdadasal kay Satan, wag na lang, lahat na lang wala. Ganon. A local government wanted to put the 10 Commandments in front of either City Hall or the courthouse. Nag-petition din sila na, sige, kung lalagyan niyo yan ng Biblia, lalagyan namin ng statwa ni Baphomet, apparently a major demon, doon din in the same place. Kasi di ba equal protection? Kung lalagyanin niya yung inyo, bakit kami, wala kami? So, that's another form of, that was a way to address the religious discrimination. Okay? So, yung Church of Satan na yan, it doesn't necessarily mean that they actually worship Satan, but they file a lot of cases for equal protection. Okay. Medyo nakakatawa, actually. Ano pa yung mga sa ating batas, there are other forms of discrimination na binabawal ng ating batas. One of them is against the discrimination of people with AIDS, persons with AIDS. Ang mga tao who have HIV or who are HIV positive o meron din silang active na yung AIDS virus sa kanila, you cannot discriminate against them when hiring. Of course, medyo alma yung ibang mga employers dito kasi iniisip nila, syempre, kung meron kang ganitong sakit, baka tinrain ka na namin, magaling ka na, and all that, tapos mamamatay ka. So, although it is a valid reason, sinasabi ng batas, it's not a valid reason either to fire a person or to not hire a person kung pantay naman ang qualifications with the person who you prefer because they are not sick. Ay, ano pa? Of course, meron tayong PD number 966, Preventing Racial Discrimination, Magna Carta, National Competition. So, ayun pa, yung mga, so we discussed age discrimination also. So, meron tayong mga ganyan, no? So, ibig sabihin, kinikilala ng ating saligang batas ang iba't ibang mga klase ng mga tao who we feel are entitled to protection. Okay. Is this SOGIE bill a form of reverse discrimination? Well, ang nature nga ng affirmative action is to give a little more to that class of people who would be vulnerable otherwise. Okay? Tignan ko. Uy, wag kayo muna mag-aaway. Wala pa tayong sinasabi, ha? Ang bilis nyo naman Huwag nyo akong pangunahan. Kasi sa totoo lang, there are good things about this bill and there are some things that might require a redrafting. Okay? Which brings us to another point that I would like to make. The SOGIE bill is a bill. Okay? And so far, it has only been passed on second reading sa committee in Congress, in the House. Meron yata siyang counterpart bill dun sa Senado, authored by Senator Risa Hontiveros, and we don't know if this has been reported out already. So because it is still a bill, pwede pa tayong mag-introduce ng mga changes or compromises or requests, for instance, kung saan sa tingin natin nagkukulang yung SOGIE bill. Hindi ko pa i-discuss muna all the specific provisions, pero what I would like to see and I have not seen in this bill is an awareness campaign, which I think should be there and which should be done right now. Bakit? Kasi the SOGIE bill, like any laws where you recognize a group of people not previously recognized and you introduce a change that is difficult to accept, there is a measure of pain involved. Okay? In 65 or 66, President John Fitzgerald Kennedy sent in the National Guard so that one little black girl could attend school in what used to be an all-white school. National Guard men with guns escorted one little girl so that she will be admitted to school. Hindi siya ipiprevent ng mga teachers niya, hindi siya ipiprevent ng mga kaklase niya, hindi siya ipiprevent ng mga local officials. The National Guard came in to escort her and made sure that she would attend. It was repeated in other schools before nung binasag na yung concept ng segregation. Masakit. Masakit for those who had been used to discrimination, who had been so used to the idea of separating what they call colored people from the white people. They had been so used to this sort of discrimination, they no longer saw it as discrimination. And therefore, they believed it was simply their way of life. Para mabasag yung ganitong klaseng value, pinilit ni John Kennedy ang pag-desegregate ng schools. And in order to ensure that, sent in the National Guard. Bakit tayo nagkukwento tungkol sa other forms of discrimination? Because ito po yung heart ng SOGIE bill. It is about discrimination. Now, how can you tell if a particular group is discriminated against? Dito sa Pilipinas, at maraming dumaing na po sa akin at kinikilala ko po yung pagdadaing yan. There is also accent discrimination. So, minsan, we use it as a joke. Ay, Bisaya. Ganun. Reversely, meron ding mga taga-Imperial Manila yan, mayabang yan. We do discriminate. We do discriminate against each other on the basis of where we live, where we were born, and the accent that we carry. The fortunate thing about that is that although it can be considered discrimination, it isn't to the point where somebody actually gets physically damaged or set back in life because of it. Some people will argue otherwise. I will not argue back. But the point is, meron tayong ganon. Ano pa? Meron din tayong racial discrimination. May mga tao na, ay, nag-asawa yan ng negro. Nakarinig ka ng ganon. Minsan nakakashock for those of us who have grown up colorblind. Pero andyan pa rin yan under the surface. The LGBTQ community believes that they are discriminated against. And there is no question, I think that factually speaking, oo, ang tanong na lang natin dito is, are they being discriminated to the point where we need a law with a penal clause to offer protection to them? Please take note, hindi ko pinag-uusapan dito ang banyo. Although that is fair to bring it up. Kasi nga, banyo yan eh. And we need the bathroom no matter where we go. But let's set that aside for now. Is our law, do we need a law? The LGBTQ community believes strongly that they do, because some of them get beaten up simply because they're gay or something. Some people believe that we have evolved to the point na nirespeto natin ang LGBTQ and that we feel that law threatens the rights of other people. Ano yung rights na yon? Well, so far, ang nakikita ko pa lang nga is, ito na po, ang banyo. Okay. So, pagdating po kasi sa banyo, we're now talking about involving other people. Dati, pag pinag-uusapan pa lang natin yung discriminatory aspects, we're only talking about the LGBTQ community and how they deal with people like school officials, employees or employers, and others that they have to deal with, hindi society at large. But now when we're talking about bathrooms, we're talking about the LGBTQ community and possibly members of an entire gender, let's say women, or let's say men. So again, it goes back to that. Do we need a law to ensure the protection and privacy of the LGBTQ community? Are they a class that we can identify as deserving of special protection? So dun tayo maaaring magdebate. Ako, I believe that yes, they are entitled to special protection, but there are some provisions in the SOGIE bill that I believe I disagree with. But I don't disagree to the point na dapat tanggalin siya. I think that it needs to be redrafted, and that's where we all need to calm down. It's a bill. Your input is valuable, but always put in that input with the recognition that we're talking about a group of people who believe that they are suffering and that their suffering requires a law for alleviation. Yun lang po. I don't want to take sides, but what I want to do is introduce a measure of objectivity dito sa discussion natin. Ayun ang sabi ni Ma'am Unique, baka naman, ano nga ba yun yung sa To Kill a Mockingbird? Opo, you might want to watch that movie, yung To Kill a Mockingbird. It's about racial discrimination. And at some point, the guy, the accused there, he says that he had no hopes about being acquitted. And in fact, si Atticus Finch, yung bida doon, says that from the moment he was born, talo na siya. From the moment he was born, he had lost this case because there is just no way that a single case was going to be able to take down a way of life, a tradition of discrimination. hindi po natin gustong gawin yung ganon. Now, what are the things that I identify ought to be protected with the LGBTQ community? While the subject of marriage is very important for us, we also have to identify where is the LGBTQ community damaged. Since we don't recognize marriage between two members of the same gender, same sex, walang ganon, di ba? Wala silang celebration or wala silang marital tie. Dahil wala silang marital tie, pag kami namatay dun sa isang partner, the other partner will not automatically inherit from his partner. Unlike pagka mag-asawa, automatic yon. Kalahati ng estate already belongs to the spouse because of the conjugal ownership. At tapos, meron pa rin parte yung spouse doon sa natitira, doon sa individual property nung namatay. Wala pong ganon kapag LGBTQ partnership yan. So that's one thing where I can see na merong, aside from of course the obvious physical harm that they undertake simply because they are they undergo simply because they are gay. This is one portion of the law that I think we ought to address. Is that it's not right when you have a virtual marriage and then not the same rights as as a regular marriage. Kasi makikita nyo, and I have dealt with cases like this, na matagal na silang nagsama, sila talaga, they held themselves out as mag-asawa, pero dahil walang will, hindi po naiwan yung kalahati ng estate dun sa partner, biglang namatay yung isang partner, yung family na tumakwil dun sa partner na yun po ang nag-inherit. So, we do need to identify certain areas to protect our LGBTQ community. So, if we're going to say no to Sogie bill, then we ought to have at least an answer for them. Diba? Kasi wala tayo sa kalagayan nila. Hindi naman tayo nagsasuffer ng ng mga snide remarks na tingnan mo yung pangat na bakla. Tingnan mo yan. Hindi tayo nagaganon eh. So, nasa sa atin yung burden na pag-iintindi. Okay, let's do some questions. Sabi ni Joseph, Joseph, could you please repost your question kasi maganda yan na daanan. So, nga pala, I forgot. Arguments that don't really, kumbaga, they don't work Unang-una, bago yung Sogie bill, yung death penalty muna, it's not a race. It's not, we can pass both. Or we can pass none of them. One is that they're not competing with each other. These bills, these laws, they don't compete with each other. But when it comes to the drafting in Congress, what they do compete for is attention of the public. So if you want people to pay attention doon sa death penalty edi pag-usapan ninyo. 'Di ba? It just so happens that there are people who are really talking about the SOGIE bill. Okay. Second, and I will remind you, it's a bill. If you feel that there are certain provisions there that might not pass muster or that might be unduly burdensome on other people, then please propose changes. But always recognize that these people do feel aggrieved and that's why they're proposing a bill. Third, yung mga, paano mo patutunayan yan? Okay, some of the the easiest to answer are questions like these. Yung mga hypothetical situations, these are really, sometimes are not logical. Okay, for example, may nagsasabi na, nag-apply ako dito sa school for a teaching job. Trans ako. Tapos, hindi ako tinanggap. Kung sa tingin ko, hindi ako tinanggap base sa gender ko, magdidemanda ako kasi pwede akong yumaman dahil merong danyos. Calm down. Whoa, full stop. Doesn't work that way. Dahil demanda ito, babasihin pa rin ang mga resolusyon o desisyon ng hukuman base sa ebidensya na isinusumite. Kung wala nga maisusumite ang LGBTQ dun sa kanyang petisyon para makakuha ng danyos dahil hindi daw siya itinanggap, ibig sabihin, hindi mo napatunayan yung kaso mo. Okay, so for those saying na paano mapatutunayan yan, if you're against the Sogie bill, oh my goodness, this already works for you. Why are you fighting it? Second, huwag niyo naman ibaliwala yung galing ng mga abogado who are going to be handling this. So, halimbawa dun sa sa stealthing law, stealthing provision, which I shouldn't be talking about, but it's only an example. Sinasabi sa akin, paano mapapatutunayan na talagang tinanggal yung condom? Unang-una, paano nyo pinatutunayan ang rape cases? Dalawa lang ang tao doon, yung isa complainant na witness pa. Diba? It's the same. The testimonial evidence of a victim carries its own weight. Diba? So, yung mga ganun na tanong na, paano papatutunayan yan? Oy, ayan, yayaman ka dyan kasi, feelings mo lang ang magka-count. That's not true. Your feelings are not objective evidence, and do you honestly think the courts are going to give you damages simply because your feelings were hurt? The court will base its decision on evidence, law, and logic, not on your feelings. Although your feelings do carry some damage, kasi may besmirched reputation, hurt feelings, ganyan. The court will assign a monetary compensation for your hurt feelings. And how are you going to feel if the court says, okay, your hurt feelings are entitled to 10 pesos? That could happen too. So yung mga hypotheticals ninyong ganyan, please naman, make them logical. Okay? Dun sa nagsasabing hindi daw kailangan ng law para dun sa inheritance, they just have to make a will, that's BS, and you know it because my practice started on succession law. First of all, only 1/2 of your estate can be given out by will. The rest is by operation of law. So don't BS me. Don't BS a BSer because I've done my job on that one and I know my succession law. Okay? So, dun sa mga nagtatanong, do I favor the Sogie bill or not? I favor some provisions. I don't favor the others. What do I want to see? I want to see our LGBTQ not discriminated against based on their gender, their appearance. I don't want people insulting them based on their gender or their appearance. I don't want them to be damaged or hurt because people do not understand what sexual preference is. I want them to enjoy the same rights that we have. But I also recognize that some of us are not ready. I want everybody to be able to understand what it's like to be discriminated against. At the same time, I also want people to grow up. And we can't force growing up on people. But what we can do is create greater awareness. And greater awareness is not served by saying no to something you haven't read or saying no to something in whole without recognizing what is the driving force behind that. Why am I saying this? The driving force behind the Sogie bill is so important that we must recognize that it is far more important than the bill itself. For me, recognizing that the LGBTQ community does go through the entire day often hurt, discriminated against, and sometimes all they want to do is go to the bathroom. If you say you love your friends who are LGBTQ, then you also don't want them to be hurt. Okay? At the same time, I don't also want the majority to be hurt or to feel uncomfortable or to feel that this is an us against them situation. No, the LGBTQ community is us. It's all of us. We are brothers, our sisters, wives, husbands, friends. It's not us against them. It's us trying to figure out a way to live together so we don't hurt each other. That's how we should look at this. I am very, very concerned that people say no to this. When actually we should be saying, I hear you. What can I do? How can we help? How can we help so that we are all happy? Hindi lang kayo, hindi lang kami. Diba? And I want to be able to discuss this without people getting angry at each other. But there's nothing really I can do about that. But take a look. at how we have been already identifying special interest groups. The elderly, women, children, people with AIDS, the handicapped, etc. Indigenous peoples. We have an entire law, the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act, centered on protecting a particular class of people. Identifying the LGBTQ as a particular class of people deserving of protection is what is at the heart of the Sogie bill. Okay. Yung sa mga nagsasabi, change the law on succession, you can't do that without recognizing the LGBTQ community. Okay? That's why the LGBTQ community believes that they have to file this law, pass this bill, turn it into law, so that they are recognized. Then eventually we can have laws that will recognize their other rights. Am I saying I favor this bill? I don't want to favor an entire bill all wholesale. I want to say that I am against all forms of discrimination. But I think we need to redraft some parts of this law. Okay? For instance, I would prefer that the relations between parent and child, the state does not interfere with that unless there is abuse involved. Dito, ang sinasabi nila, it is abuse of an LGBTQ child if you compel him or her to wear clothes that are not within his or her gender identification. Because of the minority of the child, the parent is the guardian. And the parent usually determines kung ano yung decisions ng bata. Yun yung point ng guardianship. The child's decisions are usually expressed or exercised by the parent. But it is important to recognize that a child must be able to express. So, yung ganito, I don't like to think of it as being penalized by jail or even a fine, because you're talking about the relationship between a parent and a child. So, I prefer that the state should offer counseling. The barangay should also create awareness about these kinds of identity problems, because the parent sometimes does not understand. Sabi ni Emmanuel Marlon Encarnado, no, we can make peace, but we can't tolerate them by giving them special and extra privilege. Make also a survey. I'm Western nation now, so eventually give a very bad impact on their lives. Okay. If you look at the Sogie bill passed by the 17th Congress, there are no additional rights or privileges given to anybody. It is simply the recognition that the LGBTQ community is deserving of the recognition of their rights as human beings, not to be discriminated against. So, in other words, take note not to be discriminated. So, kunwari, LGBTQ and the straight person apply for the same position in a job. If the straight person is more qualified, then he is the one who's going to be hired. Paano ngayon kung equal? That will still be the discretion of the employer. Kailan lang madidemanda yung employer? Kapag yung desisyon ay base dun sa gender nung natalo. And how are you going to prove that? Well, the burden is on the LGBTQ petitioner. Kailangan masabi ng LGBTQ using objective evidence na he or she has been discriminated against, otherwise matatalo siya dun sa kaso. Okay? Another thing that we should consider is that the passions here are running very, very high. In other words, there are people who are adamant against it, and part of the reason for that is religion and upbringing and culture. But for culture, I'd like to point out na prior to Spanish colonization, kinikilala po natin ang binabae at binalaki at meron po silang specific roles sa ating lipunan. So, are we ready? Is the last question that we ask. Are we ready for this? The LGBTQ community feels that they cannot wait because every day that passes might be another day where they're going to suffer. What about the rest of the world? The rest of the country? Sorry. Are we ready? Or do we need some time to create and grow awareness for the rights or the equal treatment of our LGBTQ brothers and sisters? That's a decision that we are going to have to make. Not our lawmakers. Tayo yan. Tayo yung magsasabi niyan. Are we ready? If we're not, what can we do to get ready for this? And how can we help so that our LGBTQ brothers and sisters do not feel that they are discriminated against? I hope I have not angered too many people. Because there is no intention for me to make you angry. I'm also not saying that your opinions are not valid kasi hindi tayo pareho ng opinion. Ang sinasabi ko lang, mas gusto ko na ang tinatrabaho natin is towards greater understanding of each other. And this isn't about bathrooms. This is really about understanding what their needs are, why they feel this way, and what we can do so that they are not others. Hindi kayo they. Kapatid kita eh. Kababayan kita. Kasama kita. So, I want to know how you are hurt and how we can help. Yun po. So, maybe we can make it easier if we limit the discussion to that. Merong galit. Oo. Pasensya na po kayo kung hindi tayo magkapareho ng opinion. Pasensya na po kayo kung sa tingin ko, hindi ako nag-agree na maraming problema ang bansa, therefore hindi dapat natin ito pag-usapan. Ang tingin ko, isa ito sa maraming problema ng bansa at wala namang mawawala po sa inyo kung pag-uusapan natin ito. I'm not even talking about passing the law yet, but simply talking about it so that we gain better understanding of each other. And yes, respetuhin ko din po yung mga no to Sogie. Kahit kaibigan ko po kayo, syempre tinatanggap ko na hindi naman tayo parehong mag-isip. Or hindi rin tayo parehong baka nga hindi pa ako evolved enough para maintindihan ko kayo. Pero yun po yung point. Dun sa mga nagsasabi na meron tayong anti-discrimination law, that is a general law. A specific law will trump a general law. Okay? The general laws and anti-discrimination usually is an expression of policy and expression of intent para pong Magna Carta for Women. The Magna Carta for Women doesn't add penalties against discrimination but simply states the policy of the state with the intention to create more laws to address these different issues. So ganun po yun. Kaya ang feeling ng LGBTQ community is they need a specific law to address specific acts of discrimination. Okay? The people who feel that the LGBTQ community already have these rights, you have a good argument. I'm not saying you don't. Actually, you do. And you also have a good argument when you say that there's no need kasi nga covered na sila ng Equal Protection Clause. What I like about your argument is that kinikilala ninyo yung needs ng LGBTQ community, but what you're saying is, andyan na yung batas eh. Meron na. Hindi na lang, it's just not specific enough for the liking of the LGBTQ community, but we can make it work. And that's what I like about that argument. Ano pa yung iba? Yung mga nagsasabi na maaabuso ito, lahat naman ng batas maaabuso. Sa mga nagsasabi na ang daming problema ng bansa, bakit kailangan ito? Kailan natin gagawin ito? Kaya nyo ba na merong mga we shouldn't leave our brothers and sisters in the LGBTQ community behind either, diba? So, yun lang po yun. What we're advocating for here is greater understanding of both sides. Hindi yung shutdown na natin, no to this, no to that, yes to this, yes to that. I prefer that we see our LGBTQ brothers and sisters as human beings with needs and the recognition that they are occasionally hurt by some of the things that we don't even recognize as discriminatory acts. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat, and also maraming salamat din para dun sa matinding respeto na pinapakita ninyo dito sa comments. Nagpapasalamat din po ako sa mga kaibigan ko na umiintindi din, at pare-pareho po tayo na ang hinahangad lang po natin is just greater understanding and greater cohesion among each other. Okay lang po yung hindi kayo nag-agree sa akin. Okay rin lang po na hindi kayo nag-agree at all with anything. Yun yung idea, di ba, ng free speech is that in the same way that I get to be able to say my piece, you get to say yours. We don't have to agree, pero mahalaga yung nakakapagsalita tayo, malay ba natin, marinig din tayo ng mga ibang tao, at mag-agree sila. So, yun lang po. Maraming salamat po kasi meron pang tambayan. Baka mahuli ako. So, di pa ako nag-aaral. So, para dun sa mga nanonood or dun sa meron pa po kaming tambayan with Attorney Nick Nangit at saka si Bokla Olivar. Wala po si Mocha today. Thank you also. Don't forget to like and share dito sa Luminous, and you can subscribe to our lives. And I do hope that we can talk more about this. If you want to, we'll talk about specific provisions, kung bakit it could work or it might not work. Ganun po yung di-discuss natin. Everybody should be heard, even those who don't agree. Everybody should be heard, ha? Yun yung basic tenet natin dito sa FB Live. Lahat tayo, kahit hindi tayo nag-agree, pakinggan din natin. Kasi may sinasabi naman lahat eh. 'Di ba? So, yun. Tapos, mag-facilitate tayo ng discussions nang hindi natin binabara ang isa't isa. Yun sana yung gusto ko mangyari. At saka yun sana yung tiniintindi natin. Kasi para sa akin, hindi man ako close kay SAS, or, well, of course, close ako kay TP, hindi ko kakayanin na they have less rights than we do. So, mahirap yan para sa akin. But, that doesn't mean na pipilitin ko yung mga hindi pa nakakaintindi na intindihin ako. I think that if we're going to do this, let's all do this together. Or, help each other through the pain of the change. Diba? Kasi, ang pagbabago talaga mahirap eh. Hindi, you know, and we can't expect people to be able to cope as easily as the rest of us. Doon sa mga naghahanap kay Attorney Paglinawan, he's not here. How can we draft the law better? Well, siguro we'll do a separate live for that, tapos discuss natin provision by provision. Okay, maraming salamat dun sa dun sa mga nag-like and share. Maraming salamat po. Well, I have to get ready for tambayan. Thank you very much for joining us today. See you later.